Sometimes I'll get anxiety that like someone will come in and ruin my peace.
Dang.
Yeah.
I think that's actually like one of the um things that you're trying to gain out of meditation or out of like mindfulness is that like, or I don't even know, but out of this journey and personal development, you could call it,
Hmm.
that we're all taking, is like when that part of the challenge isn't just like theoretically, in my best practice in the morning when I just wake up, when everything's going perfect. Like it's kind of like in the day to day when there's bullshit happening, can you bring mindfulness and peace into that? Because like there is going to be outside things that like enter your sacred temple. You
No,
know what I'm
it's
saying?
100% true. Like
Yeah.
there are times where I'll wake up and I know in my mind I'm like, bro, you should meditate before you go outside today.
Hmm.
But I'm like, nah, I'm only gonna go outside for like 2 hours, and then I come back and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm dealing with so much. I remember, what's today? Today's Wednesday. This might have been on Monday or Saturday. I'm not 100% too sure, but it was in the middle of the day, and I can tell I was very anxious. So for the not the first time, but just in a minute, I decided to pray. Um, like the way that Muslims pray, like it was different. I mean, I just did it because I was like, let me just at least try. It definitely made me calmer, and then I meditated, which made me even more calm.
Hmm.
But yeah, I feel like the more you go into your self development journey, the more open you are to your feelings. So the more you recognize things that hurt you. Because it's like no one's like a bulletproof vest, type of thing where you're never gonna get hurt. You know, um, you're always gonna get hurt, and I feel like the more that you dive into that journey is the more, not necessarily the more it hurts, but the more you can like see how it affects you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, day to day.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're all on that journey.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm really good. I actually also was reading Look What On this morning.
Mm,
I read, I went outside to the garden,
mm.
tended to my plants.
Your little babies.
Yeah, my children. Um, and it was nice. It was really peaceful. I was out there. I was, doing affirmations, and I mean, I also, that's the thing, is that there's a lot of things that I try to do in the mornings, right, to
Mm,
set my day up straight. So it's like, whether it's trying to meditate so I can bring mindfulness into my day, saying affirmations so I can affirm who it is that I am or want to be, um, or a million other things. Like it's nice, and like you try to do all of them, but like real life, you don't get to a lot of them. A lot of times, and like those days, like you realize where you're missing it, because like you said, like it's like, oh, okay, I just want to go do this real quick before. And so like you mess up your routine for a second, and that like throws everything off. But I think in that instance, what you have to do is like rely on that training that you were doing in the morning to bring it back in, and be like, no, it's fine if I didn't meditate the third thing I did when I woke up right after I wrote in my journal before I had a glass of water. Like, let me just meditate now that I'm stressed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's kind of how life in general is. What, like the quote always is, you ask God for patience and he gives you a line at the bank.
mm.
And I find myself often in lines at the bank. Like literally. Like
That's actually a very, very interesting quote. It's like the way that we ask is not the way that that we think it'll be received.
yeah.
When we think of you know Allah, grant me patience, it can be in a form of a test. I think that's what a lot of it is. Saying a lot of what we ask for is just a test. Let's say, for instance, if you're trying to be more like a wholesome person and you're not trying to really go into your bad habits, you can ask God, like, hey, like, I want to remove myself from these situations. And then randomly, these situations will pop up. Like a bunch of them, like an abundant amount of them will pop up. And you're just like, what, God, what's going on? And then you realize, oh, it's on me to choose how I look at it. So, like, let's say, for instance, the morning routine, like, I think it's important to at least, like, have I wouldn't say necessarily like a schedule because everyone's schedule is different and some days are going to be hectic, but at least have that practice that when you are stressed out or when things aren't necessarily going right, you know exactly what to do. Like I know for me personally, like when I start becoming very like quiet and I don't want to talk to people and I get very like irritated, when people talk to me, I know that means I need to take a step back and go back into my sanctuary and figure out like, what's going on in my head. And that might take 15 minutes, 30 minutes, but then I'll come out way more calm and in a different approach of how I'm viewing my day.